Lawrence, wow, it's always amazing to follow Sean. I'm going to pick up where she left off. DeFi is amazing. DeFi is the future. And we need to be very worried about that because DeFi was defined as composable financial services that don't have any human intermediaries. And remember the rule, to err is human, but to screw up at scale takes a computer. So best of all, this is a computer that has no central authority, no locus of control, and no one you can turn to fix it or arrest it. That sounds like fun. And while we're inheriting all of the regulatory requirements of the finance sector, we're implementing them upon 60 years of really poor software engineering practices, which tend to de-emphasize documentation, testing, and compliance. Now, I started my career as a software engineer. I know what I'm talking about. On top of that, DeFi de-emphasizes responsibility. We are being treated to the idea that projects that will be fundamental building blocks in DeFi will be completely run and designed by anonymous people. And that drive to anonymity, it isn't a specific ideological or ethical stance. There's a real danger here that the drive to regulation is creating a selection pressure that tends to select for anonymous DeFi projects. And that would be a problem. And so what could happen is as we reach out to regulate DeFi, it effectively disappears from view. And it's not as though we lack for solutions here, but we're going to have to start to think holistically and comprehensively and see all of these as elements within a greater system of DeFi and as elements simultaneously within the global financial system. We can regulate on-ramps and off-ramps. That part is obvious, may or may not be easy. How do we start to regulate from inside of DeFi? How do we keep some anonymous person, maybe they mean well, but they're constructing a DApp that ends up losing a lot of money for its investors? Do we get them to insure that project using some sort of DeFi insurance? How do we know that that insurance is secure? Do we get DeFi reinsurance? And it's looking like turtles all of the way down here. And I have been suspecting for some time that we're not quite smart enough to make sophisticated smart contracts. Programmers are composing existing and not very well designed smart contracts into new instruments, which then get folded into new instruments, and so on and so on. And how do you regulate for financial risks when the problem isn't actually in the finance, but it's in the fact that the programmer is not understanding the systemic implications of the instruments that they're creating? And all of that makes me think that at some point, not very far away, the V20 summit isn't going to be talking just to the FATF. We're also going to be talking to the SEC and their kin. So that future, as soon as we start bringing DeFi in, is much broader than we might have imagined a year ago in Osaka.